Sponsored by CuriosityStream, now with Nebula. This is my list of the best tech videos of 2019. Others will have their own lists, their own videos that meant the most to them. It's very likely I missed or simply forgotten a bunch of objectively outstanding videos. These are the ones that I saw and have stuck with me though. Not the most popular, though certainly some are. Not the most produced, though some are that too. But the ones that changed how I see the world, how I think about this medium, and how I work. I absolutely want to see any and all that I missed though, so please drop all of your lists in the comments below. But for right now, I'm Rene Ritchie, and this list is mine.
This is a collection of the same basic components. Processor, speakers, microphone. But Jibo was made to be a companion. And for all the things he failed at, it's only in saying goodbye to Jibo that we realize his greatest success.
Michael Fisher isn't just a friend and a colleague. He's a performer in the most classical sense of the word. He has craft. And nowhere was that more on display than in how Jibo, the robot, succeeded by dying. It's one of several videos he's done about how the social robots we bring into our lives only to have the server-side companies that bring them to life slowly, painfully, put them to death right in front of us.
I want to say I've really enjoyed our time together. Thank you very, very much for having me around.
I didn't think I could have an existential crisis watching a YouTube video, but damn it, Mr. Mobile punched me right in the emotion chip with this one.
Woo! Okay. So I got the red boxing across the top of my StreamYard, which means that we are officially live.
VIPRE Live isn't a single video, but an almost constant live stream. I've joked that VIPRE streams so much, even his streams are streamed, and those are streamed. But on all streams, he brings together some of the most interesting people in the industry, and then just lets them share what makes them so interesting. Sure, he talks tech, but he also talks about how people make videos, the business of YouTube, and the issues people face in it.
Christina, I know you've been trying to figure out the direction of your channel lately. How are you doing with that?
I've gotten to a point where if I don't enjoy the video, if I don't enjoy the editing or shooting process, then I'm just not going to do it.
He promotes other people, not just the biggest names or the hottest topics, but an incredibly diverse range of people from all different backgrounds with all different views. It's an amazing body of work that just keeps growing and becoming even more amazing.
I didn't even know this place existed. I'm gonna have my birthday party here.
Oftentimes, YouTube seems to love traditional media even more than their own homegrown talent. Just look at how TV talk show clips dominate recommendations and trending lists. Hollywood kind of looks at YouTube the way papers used to look at blogs, only YouTube enables that in a way that blogs seldom did. So, seeing a YouTube original with not just one, but two tech YouTube originals, Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, and Justine Nazarek, iJustine.
Yeah, it's good.
It's so great.
They don't make them like they used to.
Do you want to open it up?
And involving one of the most original and beloved pieces of tech in history, the Mac, wasn't just terrific, it was important.
I was informed that there was a show set out to tell a story where blindness was the normal in the world, and those with sight were considered outcasted, or maybe even a witch. I was intrigued to find out what this meant for the representation of my disability. I invited my friend Chrissy to assist me on my travels, and we headed off to Vancouver, Canada, to the set of C.
The reason? James is legally blind, and his channel, in part, covers accessible and assistive technologies in a way very few others do or can. Accessibility is something not everyone thinks about, but is something almost everyone will have to contend with. If not constantly like James, then sometimes intermittently, sometimes suddenly, but pretty much always eventually.
I am happy to report that there was a real effort made to cast as many visually impaired actors within this production as possible.
James's work helps all of us consider it and maybe do more to help spread awareness about it, not one day, but every day.
Steve Jobs was a visionary, a mind and a personality that almost through sheer will put Apple on the map and solidified its legacy. He wanted what's best for Apple by doing what he believed was best for consumers. And that is why he hand-picked Tim Cook to be CEO. Because Tim Cook is what's best for Apple.
You can agree or disagree with the premise of this video, feel like Steve Jobs would never do what Tim Cook has done, or Steve Jobs never would have been able to do what Tim Cook has done. That doesn't matter. This isn't about anyone's opinion. This is about John Prosser's opinion, and what matters is how well he argues it in a video that's so very different than the kind he typically posts on an almost daily basis.
Innovation is great, important, and needed for every industry, but you cannot force the wrong type of innovations, the effort in the wrong places, on a market that didn't ask for it or isn't ready for it yet.
It's the kind of video that challenges not just preconceptions, but misconceptions, and the kind we need much more of.
It's a weird selection of smartphones on the table. You read the title of this video, you're like, it's controversial, it's intense. Yeah, I mean, I gotta take some of the responsibility for that.
Unbox therapy has been controversial for iPhone giveaways becoming fadeaways, bending things with Apple logos on them but not Samsung, and recently for the way they launched their new but familiar phone case lineup. But Lou from Unbox also presented something of a personal revelation this year, a raw, credible video discussing how he's handled sensationalism in the past and how he wants to skew far closer to substance in the future.
Am I taking a moment to kind of embrace my own personal enthusiasm with tech, or am I trying to do the job immediately of finding those nitpicks? And I think there's a balance to be had there.
Now, Unbox has more subscribers than just about any channel in tech. Lou didn't have to make this video. He could just keep on keeping on. But whether nothing changes or everything does, sharing ideas like this, having this conversation with the Unbox audience, makes everyone not just think about the nature of tech coverage, but think again.
Hey guys, Ari here, and I'm probably not who you're expecting, but we decided to switch things up a little bit today, and I'm going to be doing the real day in the life with the Pixel 3a XL.
Talk about a plot twist. Ari takes Judner's familiar, your average consumer format and flips it completely around, which is fitting given how Google's Pixel 3a flipped the familiar flagship around. It's such a different voice and different perspective, but still so very grounded in everything that's made the channel so great over the years.
So I decided I would just take it out, take you guys along with me, and just have a little fun with it. So we're gonna test out the battery life, picture quality, of course, you know we have to, and a ton of other features that come on the Pixel 3a XL. So let's see how it did.
It's also such a brilliant twist, I hope we see more people experimenting with it in the tech space.
Welcome to the Crimson Engine, my name is Rubidium. If you can't tell, today we are talking about in-air diffusion. Haze versus smoke versus steam.
I first became familiar with Rubidium and his Crimson Engine channel when someone shared his using air diffusion video with me, and it was a revelation. Anyone who watches my videos knows I'm all about the A-roll, the talking head, but the way Rubidium handles talking head A-roll is just so director of photography, so literally lit. People throw around the word cinematic all the time, but this was far more show than tell.
If you compare this shot to my regular setup, this one feels a lot more cinematic to my eye.
His whole channel changed how I thought not just about my own videos, but my interest in video completely.
There's no dust or dirt here. No small particles in the air. Unlike out there, in the real world.
The Wall Street Journal, as traditional institution as they come, has somehow managed to consistently produce some of the most creative tech videos on the planet, and it's all thanks to Joanna Stern and her team. It's a spectacular amalgam of vision and execution.
Unless you have access to a beautiful bubble like this in the middle of nowhere, I cannot recommend you buy the Samsung Galaxy Fold.
I've said this many times before, but Joanna's mix of video and column directly inspired what I do with this channel and with iMore. And she's not just at the top of her game, she just keeps getting better and better.
Let's play a game. This is gonna be fun. Here's two photos. One of these photos is taken with a $7,500 DSLR camera setup, and the other one is an iPhone 11 Pro.
On one hand, you have the big sensors and big glass of traditional cameras. On the other, the big compute of modern camera phones. Likewise, you have tech people reviewing the camera capabilities of a phone compared to other phones, and then you have camera people reviewing those same capabilities but in the context of cameras. Matti Haapoja does just that with particular aplomb. Open-minded about computational photography, but never putting gimmicks ahead of results.
I never ever thought that smartphones, your camera phones, would be good enough to ever even come close to competing with something like a 1DX Mark II. But the one mistake that I made in thinking about the future is not taking into account software, the computational photography side of things.
His comparison between the iPhone 11 Pro and a DSLR shows that off picture perfect. And as I find myself plunging back into camera gear, like with Tyler Salomon, I find it an incredibly informative perspective to have.
It starts out at $749?
$7.99? Yeah.
Bro.
The video is crispy as always, if missing its usual depth of field. You don't notice it at first though, because the camera work is so fresh, almost trippy. Only at the end do you find out the whole thing is being shot at 4K 60 frames per second on, wait for it, an iPhone 11 selfie cam. But it's not just that. From hyper-creative shots to Pepsi challenges, to bringing in hardcore creative pros to test Creative Pro hardware, to editing on everything from an iPad to, I kid you not, an iPod Touch, Jonathan just keeps making me question the creative limits of YouTube and wanting to achieve more. In a tech world so often obsessed with such shallow sensationalism, Jonathan busts it in just the best way possible, with facts and talent. There are a few others I want to make sure I don't miss either. John Rettinger, who's been doing YouTube for as long as I've been watching YouTube, but totally upped his games in terms of production and storytelling this year, especially with videos like There Is No iPhone 11. It just makes me want to tell better stories. Also, shout out to his podcast partner and another OG YouTuber, Andrew Edwards. Gerald Dunn, who's been around for a while, but I just discovered and binged, does amazing deep dives into not just cameras, but the technology behind cameras. I'm learning so much, which I love. His trailer with Tyler Salomon, iPhone Dough, This Is Tech Today, Armando, and many others was also slick genius. Simone Gear turned her Tesla into a pickup truck with the help of Laura Kampf, Rich Rebuilds, and Marco Ramirez. This was months before Elon Musk and company announced the minimalist polygon Martian tumbler of a Cybertruck, and she single act of willed her own version into existence with a Model 3, a saw, and a ludicrous speed amount of talent. Again, it just makes me want to do more and better. Evan from Polymatter Crafts videos where he animates and explains complex global business and technology topics in a way that's just so spectacularly approachable and digestible. Not just the stories everyone is looking at, like Apple in China, but the ones everyone needs to look at more, like why Apple fails in India and why it matters. Despite friends of mine pushing me for years, I came to YouTube only recently, and while I knew all the big names, outside of blogging and podcasting, I didn't know much of anyone else. But that didn't matter. The aforementioned VIPRE and the tech YouTube community, from Roberto Blake to Zach Talks Tech, Jason of Painfully Honest Tech to Chris of Daily Tech, Quinn from Snazzy Labs, Michael from Detroit Borg, Canoopsy, M-Quan, Jaime Rivera of Pocket Now, David Kogan, The Unlocker, Sarah Dici, Jenna Azaric, John Prosser, all of them have been just so friendly and welcoming and helpful and informative, and I've learned so much. Likewise, my Mobile Nations, now Future Labs family, Mr. Mobile, Modern Dad, and Android Central's Alex Doby and Hayato Husman, who I learn from every day. Also, Dave Wiskus and all the standard creators like Thomas Frank, Devin from Legal Eagle, Martin from TechAltar, Brian from Real Engineering, and all the rest who've literally helped me make this channel better than I would have ever thought possible. And who have worked beside me to help create and launch Nebula, which you can now get for free when you sign up to CuriosityStream. We're all building Nebula because we want a place for education-y creators to try out new content ideas that might not work on YouTube, or for privacy-centric people who simply don't want to watch on YouTube. And because it now comes bundled with CuriosityStream, you also get access to thousands of documentaries and series, like Triumph of the Nerds, which provides an inside look at the history of computers from its rise in the 1970s to the beginning of the dot-com boom. By signing up, you won't just be helping me out, but the entire educational community as we work together to build a place where we can create the content that you really want us to create. Just go to curiositystream.com/vector for unlimited access to the world's top documentaries and nonfiction series, and now Nebula as well, and enter the promo code VECTOR to start your membership completely free for the first 31 days. Thanks CuriosityStream, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. So, that's my list. If you like this video, please hit the button and share it so more people find out about the channel. It really helps. Subscribe if you haven't already, and then list out that bell gizmo so YouTube will actually alert you when future shows go live. Then hit up the comments and tell me all your best, all your favorite videos from 2019. Thanks for watching. See you next video.